Uh-oh, look who's in the driver's seat. Lawrence is gone, so James is coming out to play. What are you, Adam's laughing at me. Hey, so we're trying some new things with Dude Soup in 2019. The first being me hosting the show. This is the first time it's ever happened. I'm really excited to do it.
But not for long.
But not for long. We're gonna give you a little bit of more information on that in just a minute. But for now, we got a Dude Soup that's coming to you straight from the top turnbuckle.
Also 2019, new intro.
No, we need older intro. Oh, it should have been wrestling footage. It should have been like Luthez.
I'll tell you what, I'll make the graphic.
Please make it.
And then you can put whatever video you want behind it.
please
So
make
just
it
be an alpha layer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
pretty
sweet.
fancy,
Was it
wasn't it?
cool?
Yeah.
That's
did you do?
Omar. That's
I missed-
Omar back there.
Was it a star wipe? Omar, did you star
No,
wipe?
he just crossfaded.
Oh.
But some of these small things really impressed.
It looked
some of our
like
guests.
we were in like we were having like PTSD or something in the war with the footage over us.
Well, we all on my show we all drop acid, and then we go for it.
That's smart.
So that graphic didn't actually play. No one at home saw that graphic at all. So thank you guys for coming. I want to introduce my guests here: Adam Kovic,
Thank you. Hello.
Elise
Great
Willems,
to be back.
Thanks for having me and Adam.
and James Wilson from Couch Shop.
Hi there.
Thanks
for having me.
This is a big deal.
Yeah,
It's a big get.
This is a big deal, and it came about in like the last 15
very
minutes.
spur of the moment this morning, but it stars aligned.
So
and I'm
thank
here.
you so much for coming out to this. I also want to give. I'm your host, James Willems.
Oh, thanks for being here, James.
I'm your host, James Willems. I also want to give a big shout out to our sponsors for this episode, Burrow, Casper, and Honey. Visit burrow.com/dude to get $75 off a luxury couch for real life. Get $50 towards your next mattress by visiting casper.com/dudesoup and use promo code dudesoup at checkout. And add Honey for free to joinhoney.com/dudesoup for a smart shopping assistant that helps you save time and money. We're going to hear more from them later on in the show. But first,
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
because I'm going to make you do the reads.
No, you do the ad read.
Okay, I'll do it.
You host this week, you do the ad read. That's the deal we made
That is the deal we made.
with Satan.
Thank you guys for joining me.
Of course.
We're trying just a quick housekeeping update. The reason I'm sitting here is one, because Lawrence is super swamped.
Yes.
He's working on some exciting new things. And we knew this was going to be happening. And so we planned for it. And Adam actually had a really good idea. That was instead of one person, because normally it's Lawrence's job to do Dude Soup. And if he's out, then someone replaces him or fills in to the best of their ability. But Adam said, well, what if we get some new perspectives and then we have every single week a cycling host?
Yeah. What if
So you guys are gonna rotate?
Yeah,
Gonna
like
rotate.
what if like women be thinking things, you know, and like what does Elise got on her mind? Not this
I
week.
be shopping. No.
No, it is actually something we brought up a long time ago, where it's like, hey, Lawrence, are you swamped? And Lawrence, being the Jesus Christ figure that he is, loves to take on as much
He always says no.
as he can. He goes, nope, I got the whole thing.
And then he balances things as he walks out.
But if you've been following the cryptic messages on like Lawrence's Instagram and stuff, there is a really big project that we're working on that kind of came about in the last few months.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not here right now. And that's why we're going to be rotating out hosts for probably the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So get used to it.
We're all going to take a crack at it. The idea is we'll just kind of build a rotation. Maybe you want to host, you just let us know.
I just randomly get
Just
control
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And Lawrence can finally meet his kids.
Lawrence can finally meet his kids. In this particular scenario, there was a news story recently that stood out that I kind of wanted to discuss. I wanted to get everyone's opinions on. Wherever that goes, it goes. We've got more than enough to talk about here.
Hit us with the story.
You guys want to hear what this story is?
Yes.
Has professional wrestling gone too far? That's right. We're talking about professional wrestling.
I thought the Saudi Arabia thing was as far as they could go.
Well, people saw the two Jameses and they were like, economics. It's definitely going to be microeconomics today. But no, it's professional wrestling.
talking about solar farms or something.
Did you put on that Funhouse shirt this morning
Completely
before?
coincidental.
That's embarrassing.
Why?
I mean,
I
just-
thought I would chill. I mean,
It's cool, but again,
I really like this one.
You know, I don't know if you wear
The
the
cyberpunk.
you don't wear the band shirt to the live show, man.
has
banned?
professional
Oh,
wrestling.
I thought you said this was banned because like
Oh, no, we're fine.
Too cool.
Lawyer said yes.
You know, there is a shirt though that is banned, or that we have. There's like an RT shirt that's banned.
Really?
What?
Why?
I didn't know that.
I'll tell you guys.
What
that
did you
later.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
say that. That's a preview coming up later in the show. Band shirt story from Couch Shop.
Yeah,
Don't miss
we'll
it.
hear it.
That's when I'm the host. I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah.
We're gonna go to my camera in the edit.
You don't have
There
it.
it is. That's as close as you get. You share. You share with a man. No, speaking of men, we're going to be talking about women because professional wrestling, it's too much.
I agree.
It's too much. It must be stopped. On December 30th, during a Suburban Fight pro wrestling show, that's a LA promotion. They do kind of indie shows. We've been to bar wrestling before, and we've been to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and other events like that. This is a similar organization, put on a show that was for 21 and over. So there was alcohol being served, but
No
you had
minors,
to be, so no
though.
minors, 21 and over.
that we know of.
2 women executed a spot, and a spot, just for those of you that know wrestling, is a pre-planned, not necessarily choreographed, but it's a.
So you're saying it's fake?
I'm not saying it's fake, but some of it is.
They're real athletes.
Yes. It's but it's something that's agreed upon. Some of wrestling is improvised, and other parts are agreed upon beforehand. They performed a spot. That has for the last week or so sent the wrestling world into a furious debate over what is and isn't acceptable. Priscilla Kelly, who has actually appeared on WWE programming, if that matters to anyone in the past, because they kind of got a squeaky clean image now, assaulted her opponent with an unconventional weapon, her own bloody tampon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unconventional in the sense that only one half of the race can do it.
That's true.
Some
So-
of that's uterine lining. It's not all blood either. We should
Most of it,
talk
isn't it,
about
right?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Omar, we if you guys want to take a look at it, if you are, I don't know, if you are disturbed by, I don't know, mimicry of gore or whatever, natural human behavior.
If these
that
people
50%
watch
of the
Demo
population
Disc
does,
every week and they can't watch
if you're here, this should be
fake
fine
tampon.
for you. But just in case, it's just a boring warning. Just a heads up.
Throw up,
come
Adam.
back and
Wait. Before you start this, for the record,
Yeah.
did you like this tweet? Did you like this tweet at all? You didn't.
Well, this isn't my account.
That's Omar. Yeah, Omar, can you hit that with a like, please?
They're not low.
You don't have.
not logged in.
All right, so let's roll this clip and let's take a look. Also, just a fun fact: the wrestler is Priscilla Kelly. Is this? She's the assaulter.
Sure.
And her opponent's name is Tuna.
Oh God.
Really gets in there, grabs it. She got a bloody tampon. She holds it up. It's pop. That's a pop.
It
in the
is.
crowd.
You can't deny that.
Ah. Oh no.
Her opponent opens her mouth as one is wont to do. She shoves it in there.
Oh my God. It's not a real tampon.
Shoves it in there and walks away like the gothic Hellcat she is.
Wow.
And then they go into a Usyk fuck chant.
Oh, I thought they said Usain Bolt.
No.
No.
Maybe.
She did have to. I think she had to, because of this whole controversy and going back and forth. I think she had to follow up and say that it was like fake.
She has-
It was
she-
like a tea
yeah.
bag or something like that.
She has since followed up with a tweet of her own that says, "Hey guys, you know, it's all fake. 21 and over show with a bar. Can't take life so seriously all the time. Call me what you will." But this was after people who are adjacent to wrestling and who are involved in wrestling and all people everywhere in between exploded. Probably not really. Most people probably didn't care. But
You think it's a vocal minority issue here that someone put a fake tampon in someone's
No.
mouth?
No.
Even though they two consenting adults agreed upon a thing.
two consented, that's a good point.
I think she's also clarified that she pulled it. It wasn't like it was inside. She was wearing underwear. There was a layer.
Some
base
people,
layer.
yeah. I mean, obviously, like, so just for those of you that don't know, wrestling isn't real in the sense that it's not two opponents deciding to figure out how to settle an argument between each other, a test of strength and wills that involve tampons all of a sudden. Like, that's not how wrestling works.
I mean, it's gross out.
It's gross.
It's gross out.
It's
stuff,
definitely gross.
which has existed for a very long time.
It's shocking, and some people are pissed. I pulled a couple. If you just search for this event, you can see all kinds of different reactions on Twitter. I'm not going to name names because people have complex opinions, and I don't want to boil them down to one quote. But We do have one quote here that says, "If you have to resort to filthy antics to get over, you might just be a shit wrestler." Now that's what someone feels about this, which
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that because she was in the Mae Young contest.
shit antics?
If you filthy antics,
Filthy antics.
you might just be a shit wrestler.
I get that's
Filthy
sort of
antics.
That's like the Gigi Allen comparison. You ever see that documentary? I think it's called Hated. Is the guy who he ended up doing the Hangover series, but when he was in college, he had this documentary about this punk singer named Gigi Allen, and was not a very good singer. It was a punk band. Say what you will about punk bands, like they have a very certain sound. But there's footage of him like just taking a shit on stage, and like he kept saying like, one of these shows, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna do it live, and everyone's like, "Fucking do it!" And he's like, "Not tonight!" And like it was just all shock antics. People were like, "Well, your music sucks, so that's why you have to do it." But then, I don't know. I mean, art is art. Do what you got to do.
It's interesting that you bring that up. So you're qualifying this as art, which I think
Well,
some people might
I
not.
mean,
I would call it art. Yeah.
I would say in wrestling, a gimmick's a gimmick, right?
Sure,
I mean, like, whether you're painting your face or you're pretending to be undead or like, I mean, every wrestler is looking for like their gimmick to make them stand out. Hers just happens to be pulling a tampon out of her cooter. I mean, I don't know.
you compared a bloody tampon to the Undertaker.
As far as I'm aware, this is the first time she's done this spot. So it's not like she's known as the tamp.
Yeah.
I mean, she is now, but it's not like she's known as the. She wrestled.
But
in-
she has been not. I don't want to say she's been in the limelight like crazy, but she has had like
big stage.
promos and stuff that have gone kind of. You know, she's like kind of skirted a line of trying to do something with that shock value.
Is she like
you know?
really blue and provocative with most of her stuff?
I think
that,
her
you know,
promos have been kind of from what I've seen, from what they've pulled, like from prior promos, have been kind of like
She's-
innuendos and stuff
she's-
like that. Like very. Just,
She's edgy. She's
Yes.
definitely. I mean, she's got like dark hair. She's got like eyeliner and
Yeah.
stuff, and she's clearly like this. Again, like a gothic kind of
I mean,
attitude.
if we're putting out like our opinions on it, I don't admire it. I don't look at this and go like, wow, what an amazing idea.
role model.
Yeah. But if I was there in that bar that night and she did that,
Yeah.
I mean, and we were there, we'd probably lose it and think, what a dumb fucking thing.
Sure.
Like this is stupid, but it's you know.
But
for
you'd
what
walk
it
away.
is.
You'd walk away with that moment, though. That would be stuck in your
Yeah,
head.
but I wouldn't-
for better or for
I
worse,
wouldn't really-
I guess. Right?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at her as maybe like, wow, what an amazing. Because I mean, there's some wrestlers where you're like, what an amazing persona. Like they
Flair.
crafted a character.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
They work the mic, or like they just have a talent. I wouldn't look at that and be
Patriot.
like, you know. But I think she's
Sting, pre-makeup.
getting crucified and like really, and I think some of it's the stigma of like it's a tampon, and there are still adult men who find periods gross, and it's like. I
Yeah,
don't
why
know.
do you do that?
I tried to stop. I starved myself.
So other people have said, like, because obviously there's the realism aspect of it. People have accepted at this point that it's a simulation of a gross act,
Sure.
right? But even that doesn't matter to some people. Someone says, "I heed you not look up the video, even if it is fake. It's beyond disgusting."
Oh my goodness.
So,
No.
like, I mean, some
I've
these
seen Beyond Disgusting. That is not it.
documentary.
Yeah. I mean, 2 Girls, 1 Cup is like
Have they been
beyond
on Live
disgusting.
Leak?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah. Is it a tank shell going through a man's head
Yeah.
on a security camera? Like, no, it's
Is
it's
it Mr.
make-believe.
Hands?
I feel like that's like my perspective on it is more like it is for the shock value, but shock value, I think, especially within wrestling and the way that the wrestling landscape is, it's so like more tame now, so it's harder to get those moments.
Yeah.
So like people really do have to think outside the box because you don't have like a Brian Pillman pulling a gun out in his hat. Like they won't
Yeah.
do that anymore. So like in order to have something like this, because she's on the independents, like to stick out like and do something like that, it's like just like Joey Ryan would do. Like it's like that name is permanently out there now.
What did
Yeah.
Joey
For
Ryan do? I'm
Well,
I'm a wrestling fan, but I'm not.
we can-
He's the dick guy. He's like
okay.
he's the
king of
opposite.
dong style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is what he's
Yeah.
affectionately
But people
known as.
love his like dick stuff.
Yeah.
It's beloved, and anyone who doesn't love it is wrong because Joey Ryan is awesome, and that is not debatable.
Sorry, do you guys want to tell the audience what his dick
Sure.
stuff is?
So Joey Ryan is also he's a very popular indie is such a weird word, but I guess anything outside of WWE is considered indie.
Yeah.
And Joey Ryan is a very popular wrestler who has done an amazing job standing out, like you said, in that realm.
Didn't
You've
this
seen him.
didn't this guy tweet you or something?
He tweeted at Raul.
Okay.
Raul took a picture of another wrestler's butt.
Okay.
But
He's gone viral through his dick antics.
Yeah, well, his
Gotcha.
signature move involves his opponent grabbing his dick, right? But his dick holds on, and then he'll flex it in such a way that it sends them barrel like turning. You've seen him before.
Lively.
We've seen him. He actually chimed in on it because a lot of people started drawing this comparison and saying like, "Oh, well, you're upset with her for this, but you're not upset with Joey Ryan, who does the dick stuff all the time."
I was here for this with the dick druids.
Oh yeah,
I
he's
was here
amazing.
live for this.
He's amazing. This is not up
I
for
mean,
debate.
yeah, I
did,
cheered
Sarah.
the little dicks. I did.
He actually said
wow,
on
they all
Twitter.
are.
Wait, was this dude at that thing we went to, James?
Yeah, you've seen him.
Oh, wow.
He's great.
He was at the bar wrestling thing?
Yeah.
Was I there for that part or did I leave by then?
I don't remember. He had an elbow injury, so he did the thumb wrestling match. Again, awesome in every way.
So what was his reaction?
People were tweeting this at him a lot, and he actually said, "I would never censor anyone's artistic creativity. To each their own. The telltale sign will be if it connects with an audience. If it finds an audience, then can it really be considered wrong? If it doesn't, then it'll die. You can't stop change. Trying will only make you bitter." That's what he said, and that's in the context of wrestling, obviously.
It's really true though, because it's like if it is a dud, it
Yeah.
will no doubt fizzle out. If it truly does not hit, then it'll just fizzle out and it won't work.
It's
But like
true.
his obviously was a hit for the most part, and he continues to do it.
See, this is Dong style, at least.
Yeah.
See, so he's got the opponent and flips them with his dick.
Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, it's comical. Obviously, there's no
Sure.
blood and pulling stuff out. It's obviously done very comical. But honestly, I mean,
Some people might think the tampon was funny.
I do. I thought it was funny. But other wrestlers, I mean,
I'm trying to think if it was funny or if it was just like
shocking.
I mean,
was
it's a spectacle.
Was it funny or was it Jackass funny when they were being really funny, or is it we just threw a pile of shit in someone's face and we all laughed at
Yeah.
them? Like, yeah, I know some people find that funny, but some people I just go like, speaking of Jackass, like there's the one bit where the dude who always shits, right?
Yep.
Forget his name, but he's like he just has his ass painted and it's just a fountain of shit that shoots up.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
and you're
in
like
3D slow motion.
and then you go, ha, ugh.
There's the that doesn't gross, like the tampon thing doesn't gross me out. Maybe it's because I'm a woman, so like every month I see a slew of bloody tampons.
Yeah, we see it in the garbage all the time.
I open the men's room and I toss them.
It sticks to the door. That's what I like about it.
But like the Jackass where he's wearing like the helmet, the diver's helmet, and they're shitting through the tube or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Makes me want to vomit because that's. I mean, this time I guess I'm an adult and I have that screen where I'm like, well, clearly this was a fake tampon,
Yeah.
and so I'm not gonna be like.
I think. I mean,
I saw a picture of Murphy from RoboCop. That was awesome.
oh, that's for later. Just to bring it back too, just to place it in us too, I'd say everyone at this table has gone blue, right? For the sake of comedy or entertainment or whatever.
Sure.
Like you're a very good candidate, not just because you're a wrestling fan, but also because sometimes you're like, well, I want to see how far I can push this.
Yeah.
And see.
like you said, even the shit thing, like I would probably do the shit gag. You know?
Yeah.
Like I would be that person to do the shit gag.
But if it gets a rise out of people, if it gets a pop in this, there's no one vomiting in the background. There's no, like it'd be great if it panned over and there's one woman from like the 30s who faints or something like that. But everyone starts doing what fans who are loving a wrestling show do, which is say, holy shit, and then start a chant.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it appealed to that audience that was there.
Yeah.
And then once it started getting beyond that audience, that's when
And again, this is the video that people are continuing to reference. This video was filmed by a fan, which you're more than welcome to do oftentimes. Sometimes they'll put out their own content depending on the promotion or whatever. But it wasn't like she posted on her own YouTube channel or something like that. she was doing something for this audience that has now broken out.
She
and reached
did
a
though.
bigger
She
au-
probably had
I mean,
to
yeah,
have
obviously,
realized,
like you said,
this could be something.
it could be something.
I'm
That's
sure putting it together, she probably thought.
and honestly, other wrestlers, especially because I've said before how I think this generation of women's wrestling is like, it's amazing. Like some of my favorite matches
they're gonna say,
are
like,
or women's wrestling matches.
getting out of hand.
No, I mean, because like if you watch during the 90s, it was like hair pulling,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
like underwear matches. It was like you just hire
boxing.
a model, and then you would not teach them how to wrestle, and then you just tell them to like roll around in
Not
the mud.
everyone.
Well, not everyone, but that was
we
what
had
the
our
division
Chinas.
was like
We had our
structured around.
Luna Vachons.
We did have our Luna Vachon. She was a pioneer. So another wrestler, Gail Kim Irvine, she actually said, "I'm seeing this post of a woman's match that got disgusting, and I'm not going to repost it because it's seriously a disgrace."
she really said
Why? Whoever thought that was a spot that was going to get a pop and was worth it? No. How about telling a story in the ring with your wrestling? So, like, I understand where she's coming from because I bet there's a feeling between.
An MVP even responded to her and in a sarcastic manner, saying you're just like an old lady and blah 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 blah.
I
They're
think
obviously in
though
the same boat.
the important thing, I guess, for someone to hold a mirror up to themselves, say, well, are you talking about it, or are you talking about other people who are just doing the same thing that you told them to do? Like, so on one hand, it's like, look, at the end of the day, people are talking about it, and
Yeah.
you're getting. She's probably doing what she wanted, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's getting controversy, which, but it's something.
I mean, I think there's a difference between getting controversy and trying to do something different. Like, I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think her putting a fake tampon in a big spot at an indie show is going to hurt anyone or like destroy anyone's
So-
image of something. Like,
It's so weird because it's like I feel like there's a perspective of wrestlers that might be like, we want to be respected as athletes. We want to be respected as performers who really like craft, when we craft a storyline, when we craft a persona.
Yeah, they don't want the
and we're
carny
doing that.
shit.
They don't want
along
the,
with-
they think it's the carny shit. And I get that too, because I mean, for us and what we do a lot of like shit, but there are sometimes where I think
Very carny.
very carny style. There's times where I'm like, wow, we did like really well crafted humor. But then you'll see like there's somebody just shouting into a microphone and people love it, and you're like, oh well, like what you guys do too. No, he doesn't just shout into a
I'm just
microphone.
kidding. I'm joking.
No, but what you do too, where
You
you're
guys are
like,
great.
I'm gonna do all this character work and I'm gonna do all this, and then somebody does something that might feel like less effort or feel like, and that's too judgmental, I'd say, I'm being. But
you can.
But that's where it could get kind of weird though, right? Because like, what if you have a person like her where it's like maybe not to take away from her in ring stuff, like what if they can flip the switch and go both? You
Yeah.
know? Like what if it's like strictly performer, no bullshit, no carny shit. You got strictly carny shit, and you got someone who could literally just flip back and forth. And there's people that are all three
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
wrestling as a whole.
I think
Absolutely.
like if you're exclusively carny shit, that's not going to stand the course. But it might get you noticed, and then you'll be able to be like, okay, well, here's what I have more than the carny shit. I like they were calling it carny shit now too.
I just think in broad strokes, it never pays off to blend in with a crowd if you're trying to make a name for yourself. So at the same time, there's such thing as something as bad taste. So
Yeah.
we get shit for that all the time of like, hey, that was in poor taste. And you're like, yeah, probably. Or yeah, maybe that joke was a little too blue or something. But at the same time, it's a weird way. That's how you are punished if you're the same as everyone else. But then you upset people if you try something different. So
I mean, there's also a discussion of the medium as a whole, because sometimes she's a part of this entertainment medium, and I like to think that people want to elevate it or like make it considered more mainstream, because like growing up, it was considered like a rednecky thing to like wrestling, like it wasn't necessarily like watching the Super Bowl. WrestleMania wasn't the same as the Super Bowl, even if the viewership isn't too far off, right? It just didn't vibe that way. And it's interesting because some wrestlers who have been around for a really long time and have been active during some of the worst phases of wrestling's desperate attempt for attention. There was a point when WWE was Priscilla Kelly, who was just trying to get noticed. Like, please, God, tune in on USA, please God. And they would try everything. We'll actually get to that later. But it's interesting to kind of hear some of their perspectives because Brian G. James, Road Dogg Jesse
Road
James,
Dogg?
you know,
God.
Road Dogg.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
He
He was
actually
not happy.
he actually said this stuff is the reason some people despise our industry. It's got nothing to do with taking life seriously in response to her tweet. It's about dignity and a personal pride. She obviously has none.
Oh my God.
Which is interesting coming from him
Yeah.
because he was part of D-Generation X, which
Suck it.
pushed forward some
And
of
still
like,
did it well late into his career, still doing little
which again, people
chop, all that shit.
people can change and people can move past things. And he could have been in his late 20s or whatever, early 30s, and now he's older and he feels differently. Sure. But it is interesting to like make a statement like that when you've been there and you've done that. Maybe he views a tampon as worse than anything he's ever done. But
And even then, somebody responds and says WWE literally did a poop angle in the last year.
Yeah.
And his response is, what does that have? Like, what does WWE have to do with it?
Yeah.
And to your point, they have done numerous
yeah.
situations just like this.
There's a
poop
larger lens here that there's
There's
like
been tons of
a
poop
bias and
We'll get to some.
problem with menstruation and like, you know.
Oh, you think
That's
it's
the
more?
thing.
I mean,
It's just a gender
I mean,
issue.
I think that's part of
That's
it.
something that's come up. I think Priscilla actually did bring that up in a different tweet where she did say like, hey, no one freaks out when penises are involved and stuff, but I don't know. Suddenly you acknowledge the female anatomy and people get frustrated.
There's that one wrestler you told me about that has his fake cum rag that he throws at everyone.
Yeah, well, it's not always every time, but we went to a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show, and one of the bits, there was a tag team match, and one of the bits was that he did a gesture, a jerk off gesture, not with a fake dick, not with his dick out or anything like that. It was like what you would do like in Friends or whatever they do like that. No, they do this, but whatever. Like you do like, hey, fuck off. He did that, but his opponent reacted as though he had actually taken a cum shot.
Yeah.
And then that became a bit. So then he went like that, stumbled to his tag team partner who got him a towel to wipe off the imaginary cum on his face before he could continue to wrestle. Then they threw down the towel, but then that towel became a weapon that was used for the remainder of that match.
So everyone's like, oh.
So someone would grab the towel and threaten to do it, and no one wanted to get the towel, or someone would throw the towel, hit someone in the face, and they do like a naked gun, like
That stuff
freak
seems
out or
like
whatever.
really fun though. Like, especially if you're there live to be like, oh no, like because they've done
Oh,
that
we were-
with like a grenade. They'd be like, oh, I got this live grenade. Who wants it? And the wrestlers will be like, oh, and
Yeah,
they'll,
yeah.
like, put it down someone's pants, and then they'll blow up, and they'll all jump at the same time.
It was so much fun to watch that. Like
Yeah.
when we saw it, I was like, these guys are having such a great time, and it is all just theater of the mind because there's no cum. Similar how there was no blood on the thing.
There is blood. It is
fake blood.
There's like it's like she has blood on her hands. And
I know,
like,
but I'm saying though, it's like it's
not
still
real
imaginary.
blood.
no, yeah, it's like it's not real blood,
Sure.
and it's comically oversaturated with like
Yeah.
like I mean. I don't know how many of you have seen an actual used tampon, but it's not fingers, hands dripping
Well,
with blood
she
and
takes
stuff.
a long time of getting that out of her pants. I know how fast you can whip a tampon out, and I mean, it's fast.
Hey,
So, sometimes someone flips you off on the highway. You gotta just hit them with one.
Throw it out.
But
No, fuck you.
She's spending a lot of time digging around in there. It's because she's breaking the fake blood capsule
Yeah.
to douse the tampon in it.
So
Like
it's fresh.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
criticize a magician for hiding an ace of spades in his
breaking
pants.
his tampon, dousing
Bringing out
blood.
an ace of spades covered in blood. You call him a mastermind.
I don't
Call
know.
David
Maybe I'm
Copperfield.
biased.
I don't know.
But-
It's just really interesting to see all the different perspectives.
Like, she
of
twisted.
reacting on this. She's definitely twisted.
I'm just saying though,
But-
if was it the Best Friends wrestlers, the ones who do the cum rag?
I think it was their match, yeah.
If they had used a lotion bottle or something similar, would people be more critical of
Would
them?
it be
Maybe.
worse if they had a fake? I don't,
Fake
I don't even
jizz?
know if that's the same because it's not like she had a fake vagina on and then reached and scooped inside the fake
Yeah.
vagina and pulled this
Right.
thing out or whatever. She reached inside her pants and then pulled out what was clearly a prop tampon that was hidden there. I don't know. It's really interesting.
Y'all need to chill. It's okay.
I mean, not everyone is upset. I just noticed that some people really, really were.
I mean, sure, it's
Other people weren't. There's a couple tweets that I saw that were like, just saw Priscilla Kelly video. That was awesome, but disgusting at the same time, and I love it. I've seen a lot worse in wrestling. She's making a name for herself, so good for her. P.S. The tampon did not come from her vagina. It was between her underpants and wrestling trunks.
Is there an argument over whether or not like it's just like disgusting versus not disgusting, or if it's like I don't know, like what you said, like taking away from her, like what's the main like argument that you see?
You think like some people think it gives wrestling a bad name?
Yeah, like what is the main argument that people like are bringing forth?
It kind of varies. Some people are just adamantly against the idea of doing something that gross just to get a rise out of people, I guess. Other people seem to feel as though it's setting back wrestling in some ways, which
not really like a real versus fake thing, right?
I don't think. I mean, everyone seems to have accepted that it's fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some people who believe that it's real, but they're dead in their computer chairs because they're so shocked.
Like Mick Foley, the stuff he would do as Mankind would give me a more visceral reaction.
So we'll talk about that in just a second. Because I want to do an ad read, but then that's a great segue because I want to talk about some of the stuff that has happened has actually happened already in wrestling and some of the reputations. But this episode of Dude Soup is brought to you by Burrow. Are you planning on big changes in the new year? It's tough whether you're trying to break bad habits or leave a lame relationship. One of the changes that should be easy is pulling the plug on that worn out, hand-me-down couch you've been hanging on to, Bruce.
He's not here to defend himself.
Sorry. Start fresh in 2019 with the most comfortable, durable, and stylish sofa out there from Burrow. Once you spend a few minutes on your Burrow sofa, you'll wonder how you went so long without it. Lisa and I actually recently bought a new couch after a long time debating about buying a new couch, and I would say it's way more comfortable. The apartment looked better, way more stylish. People come in and compliment us all the time. We also know that it's going to last. There was a point on our old couch where I like leaned on it and it kind of like popped a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Grab at me.
And just going onto a website and just like choosing exactly what you want. It's real easy with Burrow. You just like, oh, I want the arms to be this high. I want it to be this comfortable. This is the color I want.
You can customize that much?
You can customize a bunch of it. Trust me. And it's also like, so you can like pull pieces in and be like, oh, I want a sectional now. And then you like it's like Legos with a couch. So make a resolution in favor of comfort and convenience for the new year and save $75 on a new Burrow sofa by visiting burrow.com/dude. That's BURROW.com/DUDE to save $75 on your sofa. Thanks again to Burrow for supporting the show.
Heyo.
Cool.
Why do you hate Mick Foley?
No.
What do you
No,
do?
I mean, I used to love Mick Foley, but like,
Is he dead?
he loves Christmas
He's dead, right?
now.
No, he just doesn't wrestle as much.
He doesn't
anymore.
wrestle, and he just loves Christmas. And he wrote a book that I was thinking of
He's got a
reading.
couple books.
Yeah,
He's got a couple
Yeah.
books out.
I read his
comedy book, his fiction.
Oh, I read his remember
Oh.
when his autobiography came out? That was like the first like
I met him
wrestler
Yeah.
at like
biography.
Hershey Park one year because he was doing a book signing there, and he signed like a Christmas hat that I was wearing. I have no idea where.
Oh,
it
he's
is.
the one who like fell. It was like a cage ring.
Oh,
Yeah, you
I
know
mean,
that
he
meme?
would,
And he
like-
like fell. Like, oh, that's right. They like took him out. Is that documentary right? Beyond the Mat.
Don't
Is
let
that the
this
one?
distract
like-
you from the fact that Undertaker threw Mankind off the top of the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yes.
Yeah, he'd like fall onto tacks, and then he'd get up and have tacks sticking all over his back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, his like mandible.
Mandible claw.
Yeah, that he'd like
Well, here-
shove down
that's-
your
I mean,
throat,
direct
and he'd have his
comparison
sock.
because it would be in his crotch.
Or sometimes he pulled it off his foot too.
That too, yeah.
Before
Yeah.
it became Mr. Sacco and with a sentient
Character.
type character entity with the face drawn on it, it was just his sock. His finishing move was he would reach in your mouth, and the premise was that I remember they explained it one time. They're like, "There's a nerve beneath your tongue, and when pressed in the right way, it forces paralysis." I was like, "What?" That's what I remember
never
when he
heard
first
that.
when he
But you
first
know
came
what?
on and he was Mankind and like hidden down. They were like, "You got to be careful." But then it became like, oh, well, it's also just kind of
Oh,
disgusting.
is that when he used just the fingers like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
That's what they would
the
say.
mandible claw. But I'll say, concocting a story about a weird nerve in the under the tongue, and then
great.
that's, I think, a little bit more artful than just ripping out a tampon.
It's
Like, unless
true.
you were like, this is
Okay.
a power tampon, I've been soaking this for
But
months.
The tampon needs a backstory.
Yeah.
Here's the
Okay.
thing. Mick Foley got to that point where he was portraying the character of Mankind Because, and you talk about flip-flopping between being amazing in the ring, but then also just kind of being shocking. I love Mick Foley, but he was 80% a shock wrestler, 20%
wasn't a good technical wrestler.
capable wrestler. Like, he wasn't very fast. He didn't have a lot of moves, but he would take any punishment other wrestlers
That's what made him
would do.
stick out, was that he would do those spots.
And the reason he got the Mankind gimmick is because he was doing a spot where he was tied up in the ropes. Again, pre-planned. But what wasn't pre-planned is that his ear got caught and was ripped off
Oh, fuck.
in the match. And then they finished the match and they were like, well, you're disfigured, so let's have you play a disfigured character now. And that's like your gimmick. So we'll like shave some of your hair and then we'll have your ear showing or whatever.
Did he do Love before he became Mankind?
Technically, yes. I mean, he did Dude Love when he was like 15
Yeah.
years old and jumping off his roof.
Oh yeah, the home videos that they
Yeah.
always show.
But then to get into wrestling, he was Cactus Jack.
Yeah, oh, okay.
For a long time, and then but then he would go to Japan and he would jump on thumbtacks and smash his brains out and cut his face
Barbed
open,
wire matches.
all kinds of stuff like that to become Mankind. And he's celebrated.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
And then
But to be fair though, that's also something that they try to steer away from now. Like they don't do blood anymore.
Yeah.
Like they don't do any gigging or anything like that. They don't do any of that
That's
anymore.
true, but you have to think about like the legacy. Like he did those things. They had that Hell in the Cell match, which is now so notorious.
There's a meme.
Well, it's a pay-per-view. Now they have a whole pay-per-view
Yeah,
based
that's
around
true.
it,
About when
right?
a guy
Like it's a
almost
meme.
died.
Well, he was thrown off, and then he did that, and then not only
There's like the match
people,
type. They turned the match type into just the whole pay-per-view.
and people forget that he got carted off and then came back, went up again. Undertaker chokeslammed him through the top. Then they also set out tacks, and then he slammed him onto the tacks. And by this point, his tooth had shot up through his nasal cavity, and there's a shot
Didn't he,
of
like,
him
spit it
having
out?
lost the match. What?
Well, he spit out his
No,
tooth
it's in
or
his nose. There's a shot of
Oh,
him
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
turnbuckle going, "Ah," and his nose is there. And that's real. I mean, that's really his tooth that shot out of his mouth while he was doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were like, maybe we make a pay-per-view out of that. So, like, there is a certain legacy there. I mean,
Also, even the whole Andre the Giant thing. I just watched that documentary. Have you seen that one yet? It's so good, but there's a poor man suffering from gigantism.
Yeah.
Like he is dying. Every moment of his life is dying. And you see the interview with who's the commissioner guy, the main guy, Vince
Yeah.
McMahon, and he's telling his side of the story, and he's like, Andre came to me and said, "I'm dying," and I said, "Not yet. You got one more pay-per-view."
You gotta make some money off you first.
putting aside the fact that most of those wrestlers in the 80s and 90s were treated like cattle. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole different
Oh, well, and
thing,
I
but-
could see why. Also, coming off of all these wrestlers dying at 40, all their bodies being broken, I can see with the WWE's whole like image revamp, they're like, we don't want to be associated with something that seems unhealthy
That's true.
psychologically or
Yeah.
you know for wrestlers.
But would you get to that point without people like Mankind pushing these boundaries?
Yeah,
Like
that-
if that Hell in the Cell didn't take place the way that it did, would we have a pay-per-view?
And
would it
also, in a way, because WWE stopped doing that, there is a completely open playground that other people can come in and take advantage of. Like WWE's not doing this. We can do this. We can get the eyes on us for doing this. Like that's like they're not going to touch it. So we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you can't do pile drivers anymore in WWE except for the Tombstone.
Do 'em on the
Undertaker.
indies.
So
Big pop
what
on
do
the
they?
indies.
What do they do? They'll jump off some guy's back and then do a Canadian
Destroyer,
driver,
yeah.
or like you'll do the most egregious, disgusting Steiner driver you can to a dude in the ring because WWE said no more, and that's what gets those guys moving, and then they end up in NXT where it's kind of like halfway between. NXT is a WWE owned brand where they allow talent to kind of like, it's like summer camp or whatever, to learn their flourish and camera readiness and stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah, you have to
They
cultivate
still
talent,
let them
'cause-
go wild.
Yeah.
Like they'll still let them set up 2 ladders with another ladder and then another ladder and then like really put themselves on the line. But then once you're in Raw or SmackDown or on the big show, not necessarily the wrestler, the big show, but in the big stage, then they're like, all right, settle
I've
down.
seen Young
because we
Hercules.
need you to work 52 weeks a year.
Yeah.
So
There's an audience for it. Like, I mean, there's people that followed ECW back in the day and they liked all that vulgar brutality, all that stuff was like their shtick, and once that went away, like there's an open platform.
I was
there,
an
pretty much.
NWO man myself.
I don't know that necessarily. I don't know that you would count NWO as
Wolfpack.
edgy.
I don't know.
You have to
You're
actually,
Wolfpack?
you have to actually touch them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
My mom got her haircut by the same hairstylist who did Sting's hair.
Wow.
Well, no, one time
Which Sting?
Like, see a surfer sting?
like Sting.
Surfer Sting, though, or what are you talking about? Crow Sting?
Yeah, Crow Sting.
Okay, because he was surfer. His hairstyle
He was
changed
blonde.
very
No,
dramatically.
he was Crow Sting. Like
Okay.
this is actually like post WWE purchasing NWO. But I remember I went with her one time. We're like running errands or whatever. She's like, I gotta go saw my hairstylist real quick, and this huge dude walks in. I was like, holy fuck, that's Sting. Like he's a huge dude.
Did he come down from the ceiling and hold a baseball bat?
No, apparently
capitalize on a dead man's image.
He just loves Christ now. That's like his thing.
I think he did then too.
Yeah, but he's more open about it.
Should have asked him about that commercial of him beating up the kid.
I don't know anything about that.
There was like a Sprite commercial or something like that. I forget what that was.
Just as a kid, I was a big fan of the Crow, so he spoke to me. You know, so.
It's like he lives on. There was another. I just kind of went. So I started digging because I
Show
could
us the
think of
gross
them.
stuff.
So I found some like shocking moments. There's a YouTube video. Now this is a moment between a women's match from early 2000. What year is this?
Oh,
It's
this was
Trish-
like 2001.
Trish Stratus and Mickey
This
James,
was WrestleMania 21.
who are Trish Stratus. She's retired, but she'll come back for like specialty stuff. Mickey James is still fucking active and
Yeah.
awesome. But this is like a moment that took place in one of their matches, the culmination of theirs. So I don't know if you've. So she's grabbing her by the vagina
Yes, women have
and then
those.
pulls her hand away and then licks her fingers.
Okay.
So the whole storyline between these two was that she was into her as well, and that was like months upon months of buildup. That like the innuendos was like they were in the back locker room and she would like walk in on her, you know, taking a shower and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like that was the whole storyline with it.
And now,
Unwanted
Sexual harassment.
touch.
Yeah, that's sexual harassment. in
Wouldn't
the
fly
workplace.
today. No,
well,
would not
so
fly today.
so this moment, even when it happened, apparently Vince McMahon was like, "What did you like?" It almost ended Mickey James's career. And then this, you can't find this clip on any WWE official content. It lives on YouTube like
They don't have
everything
it on the
does.
network? Did they cut it out of the actual pay-per-view
I'm pretty
on the
sure it's
network?
cut. I'm pretty sure it's cut. So like even then in 2001, they were like, "Whoa!" But what else? What other shit was happening in 2001 that gesturing about maybe being interested in pleasuring a woman
Vaginally. Yes.
was so horrendous?
Sex makes people very uncomfortable.
Is that? I mean,
more so than
I wonder
violence.
if that's what it is.
At least in a
And
medical
I'm not.
land.
I don't think that it's necessarily a feminism thing, but there is a certain aspect where it's like, whoa, women shouldn't do that. That maybe
I mean,
isn't always.
I think in some ways, like women are expected to be like docile and not vulgar, you know.
Well,
so
so-
when they are, it's like, whoa,
I-
what do you think you're doing?
So I found this list. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. I don't know that I didn't really see that much in the discussion, but I wonder if there's something there about it. The corporate image of two women being lesbianic together is like, I don't know.
there are openly gay wrestlers now, right?
Club and Cody.
Well, I mean, indie scene, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren Young is. He came
yeah.
out like a few years before he got released, I believe, and he was still active after the fact.
There's oh God, what's his name?
All of them.
That's the stereotype,
Coup de grace.
dude.
Coup de
I mean,
grace.
it's-
I'm having a
it's-
brain fart.
Who?
Coup de grace.
Oh, Finn?
Yeah.
Finn's not.
He's not, but
he
he
supports.
sells. He's very openly
Yes.
supportive of that
and he's
community.
found like he's gotten a lot of praise for it, but he's also had like some criticism about it too.
okay,
Really?
but
Jesus.
I know that
Just
he
by
has.
having a rainbow on his gear.
Yeah, he
Oh.
has a rainbow version of his merchandise too, and so it's like his logo with the rainbow logo and stuff. So he's been pretty open. It's very open, and
He has
it's
like a stick that's
fine.
called like Balor Club. It's supposed to be based on like the Bullet Club stick, but he puts like it's like Balor Club is for everyone. So it's supposed to be
It's one of the things I like about wrestling. Anytime we go to an indie show or any other show, it always feels so, I guess the opposite of inclusive, but it's just sort of like there's no problems with race, no problem with gender. It's like everyone's there just in it to win it, to have
Yeah.
fun, to put on a good show, and it's like
Yeah.
everyone's having a good time. At least from the smaller shows we've gone to, like when they did their
When I
thing
went
in
to
Moore
that
Park.
show in Chicago, that's how it was. And I never really got that from the WWE shows, but like I went to that one in Chicago and it was like I'm talking to the guy next to me, the other guy next to me. It's like they're like there's some people that I didn't know on the show and they're filling me in. It just felt like everybody was in it and they were all like on the same page.
Wrestling is the first attribute that everyone all shares, and then it's a big gap,
Yeah,
and then
you're a
it's whatever
wrestling fan
differences you have.
first.
Yeah, I guess
And
it's
then
like,
you're Mexican or gay.
Yeah. That's what I always liked about wrestling. Was like it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. You're up there being who you are. Whether you're like that one girl who's like, I'm the skeleton king or whatever. Was she like a jack-o'-lantern woman or something?
yeah.
Which is awesome. It's like, if that's your persona and you want to get it out in an artistic way, like whether you're a wrestler, a drag queen, or whatever, like if you have an artistic way of expressing yourself in a fun, cool way, that's awesome. That's why I was like wrestling. So for someone to be like, whoa, dude, if like you're gay and you're trying to express that, leave it at home. It's like, no, like be proud of who you are, do your thing. And like you're all there for the same thing, right?
But
You
clearly
love
there's
wrestling.
boundaries because that's why we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Like clearly
So
there are lines that can
I'm
be crossed.
thinking about this because, like, yeah, I'm not crazy about the whole aspect of like she's grabbing her in a way she doesn't want to be grabbed, whatever. But I guess they're all being by nature of fighting. They're
It's assault.
Sure,
every single
every-
wrestling match is some form of assault.
But Goldust was kind of all about like creeping out.
He was,
his-
and honestly,
He kissed Ahmed Johnson. Too.
Yeah.
there was a whole
That was the whole storyline.
there's a whole bunch of plot lines that he was in where the only thing that put him over as a heel or a bad guy was that he was potentially interested in men, even though he had a wife.
Yeah.
Like that. So like there has
Even
been
the King
a lot
on
of really,
commentary also pushed that too. The King on commentary.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, like there's a promo that you could probably still find that's on
Yeah.
YouTube where he
It's
calls
not-
him flaming.
yeah. Really?
Yeah. And
But-
it's all live on there.
So
too.
there's a history of it not
I
being
mean,
good.
now we'd be like, that's super homophobic. WWE.
I mean, then it was. too.
I mean, it was then, but,
But
that's what
no
they
one
did.
seemed to notice, at least in the industry. So I found a pretty amazing list. It's from thesportster.com. And so they did all this work for me, so I want to shout them out. But it's top 15 most disgusting moments in WWE history.
Is that shit on her mouth?
Yeah, probably is. So let's.
no,
here's-
those are worms.
here are
It's like
things
dirt.
that have actually happened and been approved, like not things like the Mickey James scenario where they talked it out privately. Here are things, they're like plot lines and stuff. So number 15, sorry to make you scroll, Omar.
This is from
but-
2016 too. So
yeah.
It's not even the past
So,
2 years.
number 15 is Al Snow.
Oh my God, I remember
Eats
that.
his dog.
He's in a hotel room eating his dog.
Yeah, well, he was tricked. They had a rivalry with Big Boss Man, and his dog was kidnapped, and then they decided to make up and be be but it turns out that he fed him his dog.
Cool.
They also had a Hell in a Cell match where they had
14.
dogs around the cage
Number
too.
14
Oh my God.
punts a baby.
God.
Lita, who, by the way, if I recall, conceived that child in the ring, right? They had a sexual
Yeah, they had
encounter
the-
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
ring, and then
Her
she
and
got pregnant.
Edge.
How very-
Obviously, it was a fake baby, kind of
very
like fake
Spartan of
tampon.
you, yeah.
Real
But-
quick about that though, that spot, that kicking of the baby,
Yeah.
he just recently did that again at an indie show.
Nice.
He just did that again. Like somebody, I think, gave him a fake baby.
Yeah, and he punted it.
punted
Yeah.
it into the crowd.
That's what you're known for.
Number 13, well, sorry, Tommy Dreamer, who is very much part of the ECW scene you mentioned. He was kind of like the popular indie at the time, now indie. He just wrestled in LA recently. He was
Yeah.
in bar wrestling just recently. But he was a hardcore dude. He's also a really good wrestler. So he can have
the
an
switch,
amazing match, but he can also shock you. But he played this every man guy.
He's drinking his tobacco juice.
Yeah, this is a great one. Number 12. So they're at a funeral. They're at a funeral. Just a real quick story here. Dawn Marie and Tori Wilson were feuding, and Dawn decided she would get back at her by marrying Tori's real life father.
Okay.
So Tori Wilson's actual father came and played into this bit. And the only problem is that shortly after they got married, he died because they had too much sex, which is elaborated on.
Okay.
And there was a confrontation at the funeral. Go to 11 is the
The
best
funeral's
image.
also in a hotel room.
Whoa. Hold on.
This is what we mentioned
Yikes.
before.
Yeah.
They were just trying to make this guy seem really scary, so they got poor Michael Cole, who's an announcer, and he was trapped in a bathroom. And nothing happened other than a little bit of frightening intimidation and implication.
Okay.
But they went for it. These are all things that writers like, let's do it.
He in that scene he thrusted,
yeah.
and it went that far.
You felt it.
Yeah.
So there's
through the screen.
There's implied.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. But they were
Yes.
like, how can we make this guy a bad guy? Sexual assault. Like,
Yes.
So,
It's really bad.
I mean, the thing
This
is, like,
still doesn't do it.
it's like, yes, he's a bad guy. I guess it's like if we were watching a movie, we'd be like, that's a bad guy.
yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But again, it's the lowest common denominator, right?
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to finding a creative, like Thanos
Yeah.
is probably a good bad guy as opposed to.
when he took Tony Stark in the bathroom.
press him against. Number 10, Terry Runnels, who was actually Goldust's wife, fakes a miscarriage.
Oh.
Let's lean into that. I'm sure it's something that's actually affected. This is a great one. Number 9, Eddie Guerrero covers a Big Show in poop.
Okay.
One of the many
This
poop-
is a sewage. He has a sewage, basically a sewage gun, and he covers him. But this is after he had already, if I recall, fed him laxative. Didn't he like feed him a bunch of laxatives? So Big Show already took a huge poop, and
I
then he
don't
covered
even
him in
remember
poop.
This one.
Cool.
Let's keep going. Number 8, Boogeyman smooches Queen Charmel.
Charmel, dude.
Sorry, dude.
Good old Charmel.
This is even after my time. So number
This
7.
is after your time? It was
Yeah.
like 2008?
Whoa.
Yeah, I took a break. He was cursed by a voodoo man
Okay.
and
Shango.
vomited. Papa Shango.
I love
Yeah.
Papa
Isn't
Shango.
Ultimate Warrior dead?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he's
Okay,
very
okay.
much dead.
Yeah.
This is number 6 is great. Oh, look at that picture. Val Venus, who by the way, his gimmick was he was a porn star. He was a male
Yeah.
porn star.
Oh.
And would always there every match is like, is this the one where he shows his dick? He didn't show his dick. Taka Michinoku and a bunch of what appear to be like crazy
Kinda,
Asian
yeah.
dudes.
that in
They
Old
would
boy.
yell at him like every week. They'd be like, "We chop your pee-pee up.
Yeah.
We chop your pee-pee."
tied
And,
him
like,
up in a shower and then threatened to chop off his penis.
It's like a Serbian film. Meets
Number
Old
5
Boy.
is a great gif. Degeneration X, who Road Dogg Jesse James, who we saw his tweet from earlier,
Yeah.
had given the McMahons a poop bath.
Okay.
Wasn't real poop, I'm sure.
Jesus.
Self-explanatory. Kane burns his parents' grave.
Kane was awesome.
Dude, Katie Vick is gonna be number 1. I bet.
I think it. Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
think
be
it is.
number 1.
Number 3. Also, again, here's Road Dogg again, the guy who we saw in the quote earlier, delivering a. So this old wrestler, like there was a gimmick where she got pregnant, and they were like, "How's that possible?"
Because Mark Henry kind of had a similar gimmick where he was called Sexual Chocolate, so he kind of had like I'm the Love Boat kind of character. So like he got with her because he was like the only one that found her sexually attractive. So he got with her, and she gave birth to a hand. They actually revisited this bit too when he like went into the Hall of Fame. I think they had like a big hand,
Yeah.
grown up hand. It's like the hand is all grown up.
I mean,
it was
it's-
like a dude in a hand suit.
Because she's in the Hall of Fame too, right?
Mae Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Gave birth to a hand.
yeah.
But like, there's gook and shit falling off
Yeah,
of it.
there's
and
some
everything.
afterbirth on there.
So I don't know what. Number 2, I didn't think was that bad, but there was a match. They were
remember
feuding, and then he hung him, like he put a noose around him. Except, I remember watching it, and like there's a hook. Like,
Yeah,
so when he
it's
rises
clear.
up, it's clearly braced around his body, but
Sure.
the match ends with him just hanging limp, dead in the ring, having been
I was really young when that happened, and I was like, it didn't scar me, but
Yeah,
I
and then
knew
number
it.
1,
I knew it.
the Katie Vick incident. So if I recall, Kane had like a girlfriend, but she died,
Yeah.
and so
Jeans and a
Degeneration
graphic tee on, but the mask.
X wanted to get back at him.
No, this was just Triple H. This was
Just Triple H.
Just
So
Triple H. did
Triple
this.
H was feuding with him and wanted to get back at him, and so he went to the funeral home and had sex with the corpse.
Yep. But he was mimicking that he was Kane, so he was like, "Oh, I still love you," always crawling into the casket, and he was like,
Wasn't a
Goes
real
full-
dead body,
Yeah.
and he didn't actually have sex with her.
Okay.
But part
Well,
of
I
it,
feel better now.
so those are some things that have actually happened
Okay.
in the world of professional wrestling that have been totally signed off on. So just think about that for a minute and how what we've talked about before kind of falls in line. And I will go ahead and do another ad read. Go for it. This episode is brought to you by Casper. A sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time. Casper's mattresses are designed by humans for humans because robots can just shut down. They don't have to sleep. You just put them in sleep mode. That would be extremely uncomfortable for us, but luckily, the original Casper mattress has got you covered with multiple supportive memory foams for quality sleep surface with a touch of sink and just the right bounce. Casper also has an array of other products to ensure an overall better sleep experience. Lawrence always talks about his Casper mattress. He sometimes talks a little too much about it, and I've never actually seen him yawn, which means that it's working. You ever think about that? Have you ever seen Lawrence yawn?
I've barely seen him breathe, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I haven't seen him yawn.
He's never tired because his nights are so restful. Casper also offers risk-free 100-day trials. Considering we spend 1/3 of our lives on a mattress, no one knows if it's going to be the right fit until you try it. And you can't try it 5 minutes in a showroom. That's just not how it works. With 100 nights, you can sleep in every conceivable position across 3 seasons. 3 seasons. You can try out this mattress to make if it's right in the spring. Maybe you'll find out if it's going to be right in fall. You'll find out with 100 days. You can do that. I checked the math. If that doesn't already sound like a deal, you listeners and viewers of Dude Soup can get $50 off select mattresses by visiting casper.com/dudesoup and using promo code DUDESOUP at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you, Casper, for your sponsorship.
Thank you.
So we've seen that, and now we kind of see where everything lies.
I really feel like there's a bit of an elephant in the room in regards to a lot of these cases.
Okay.
The internet. Would all of those instances, because I mean, a lot of these cases nowadays get kind of blown up way more because of the internet. But a lot of these cases were way back when, and the internet obviously wasn't that big. Like,
Just happened on a live broadcast, and then that was it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
and that was
clearly not, but
it wasn't spread like the
Yeah.
plague continuously. Do you feel like a lot of these cases would be, like if that was done, obviously, with the internet in place, it would just be...
Would
But
someone
10
have
times
like been
worse.
like, no, we gotta
Yeah.
crack down on
Or
this?
do you think that they would have seen that a viral video of Triple H pretending to have sex with a corpse gets
I mean,
10
WWE's all
million
about
views,
social media now.
gets
Like,
10 million views and be like, oh my God, and they'd lean into it more.
yeah.
I don't know.
Would that have changed the dynamic?
I don't necessarily think that those moments shape. Well, I don't know that they necessarily. Can we just do the GIF of Vince McMahon getting pooped on?
Yeah.
I think that's the best one. And it's not like those moments are necessarily the identity that the company wants now.
Yeah,
But
sure.
would they be the company that they are now without those moments? I don't know.
I mean, I guess ultimately it's important to remember where you came from, and that whole age-old saying, "He without sin." So it's like it's weird to be like, "How dare they?" When you should go, "Well, I understand what they're doing. I can say I don't like it, but as always, if you don't like something, just don't say anything. It's the most powerful thing you can do is apathy."
That's true.
I
think some people though that maybe say you watch wrestling as a fan, you may want like your thing that you love to
be
better
preserved
to
and,
reflect maybe your moral standards or whatever, which I understand that too. But
if her case happened on WWE television, like I still wouldn't. It still wouldn't. I wouldn't care. No.
it wouldn't stand.
And I think that might be partly because of spending so much time on the internet and going to
Yeah, you're a
the
monster.
Exactly. So it's like I'm kind of immune to a lot of that stuff. So when something like that happens, kind of I perk up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
That's
Like,
the only way you can feel anymore.
yeah, I'm just so numb to it all.
yeah.
just let the match burn all the way out.
There was a moment a couple months ago where Ronda Rousey like gave this really good promo against the Bella Twins, and she was like really like she talked about John Cena like dumping
But
her
at this
and
point,
like
though, like that's the go-to though when it comes to them. Though, like everybody brings up John Cena.
Doesn't
for
she
Yeah.
have a
it's
new
like,
boyfriend, though?
John and John.
I mean, she might, but it seemed like I remember that moment, and maybe it's just my Google feed or whatever, but like kind of spilled out a little bit. I saw a lot of people reporting on that specific moment because they're like, "Oh shit, she really went for the jugular," and clearly they had discussed it, like they do with everything. But she like really went for it, and I can't believe that wasn't crossing the line where they brought in their relationships or whatever. But I guess they have a reality show.
Depends on what your line is too.
Oh, that was a real moment?
No, it wasn't a shoot moment,
Okay.
but it was a promo, and it was like the first time Ronda Rousey had come out and done anything more than like scowl. She like cut a promo where she just like ripped into her and not only talked about her legacy in the ring, but also this woman's legacy, her personal life, because she had just gone through. She was supposed to be married to John Cena, and they separated, and then like the relationship.
I guess I don't know what's real or fake, but I assume they're all banging.
I think
They
they
should all
kind
be
of
banging
are.
each
Like,
other.
I mean, I think everyone's just kind of on the
the
same
road
page
together
back
for
there,
so long.
hanging out, having an amazing time.
I mean, when we went to that bar wrestling thing, they're like everyone going out there looked like a He-Man. There was that one guy that was just
Brian Cage.
yeah, he just looked like
Oh,
a cartoon.
God. So
I was just
Brian
like, dear
Cage is
God, like, and then like I think his fiance or wife was there, or whatever, and I'm like, they're just like they're perfect for each other, and I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
like, I love that all these cartoons are together doing this thing.
I don't mean to keep shouting out bar wrestling, but they had the New Year's show, and we were looking at images from it, and it's Brian Cage and his soon-to-be wife and their son, and another wrestler standing in the face of his son, giving him the middle finger.
Oh wow.
And I was like, this is like one of their promo shots for it. It's like a child who, whether or not he has a say in that, is still
They
involved.
used him as like a tool for their for their program.
I mean, I guess so.
That's a business-minded couple.
I mean, my big takeaway from this is what I've been saying forever. Wrestling is art. It's definitely art. And I pulled some other moments of like maybe higher art forms that may be considered higher art forms, and like things that I felt were reflective of that. I know you had mentioned one.
Mine's pretty low on the totem pole. But let's get through yours first.
Well, I just had like, stand-up comedy, you mentioned it earlier. Lenny Bruce would talk about the Pope or a priest.
So are you
and-
saying like people that were criticized for
yeah,
their,
like people that said this is too far. People that were told this is too far, but it turns out that they were just pushing the line so that way other people could come in behind them.
maybe time's a part of that.
Absolutely.
Lenny Bruce.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be edgy now.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future, a tampon won't be so edgy either. But
I mean, he probably would still be edgy, right? He would just be edgy in the way now is edgy, because he was an edgy dude.
well, yeah, but what he said then, right? Like about like, hey, the Pope, I think, and like he'd shit on the Pope and like call them greedy, and
Yeah.
then they'd be like, call the cops, throw him in jail, and there's a warrant out for your arrest.
yeah,
like
but
stuff
because like
that.
edgy today also comes off as try hard.
And that's changing social mores
yeah.
and standards and stuff. I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, they use tampons and have historically used tampons in war to plug bullet wounds. That seems pretty masculine to me.
So you're saying if tampons were commonly used for men, who was the first person out there who got shot? And he was like, if only I had something to fill the spoon. And then the one other dude was like, here, try my tampon.
I mean, there was, a
Anyway,
kid,
thanks.
there was a kid in my high school that plugged a nosebleed with a tampon.
Sure.
Yeah, I know,
I
but-
mean, that's its
Sure.
job.
I mean, yeah, just plug it up.
Yeah,
We
mucus
used to
and
keep
blood.
them at the pool for water polo when we get knocked in the face.
Oh, you
Put
keep tampons there?
Put a tampon in your nose and keep playing.
How many tampons do you got
fantastic.
over your nose, Omar?
Like 20, 30 maybe.
30.
Quite the man, I think we all say.
He's really confident about that number too.
Real quick, I just want to show someone, JH1224 in chat wanted to give an honorable mention to another wrestling moment that wasn't on the list that I recall. The Big Boss Man interrupts the Big Show's father's funeral, chains the coffin
how's
to
that
his
not
car,
on
and drives
there?
off.
How's that not on there?
Anytime a dead body is involved, it's always A+.
Big Boss Man was involved in a lot of these.
Yeah, because he was like, the police gimmick doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
In the music industry, the first thing I thought of was Sinead O'Connor when she like ripped the Pope's photo in half.
Yeah,
and
because-
everyone's like, end her career, and it kind of
Kinda
did, right?
Yeah,
but
but-
like now, if you did that, people are like, yeah, Catholic Church does kind of
Yeah, they
suck.
diddle kids a lot. And they-
Marilyn Manson was like the devil, considered the devil, even when we were growing up. Like, but no one really cared. Like what he did.
Which rumor made it to your town? That he was the kid from the Wonder Years, or that he got his top 2 ribs
Both.
pulled out, or that he fucked a chicken on stage?
both.
All three.
Yeah.
both.
He's
I
turning,
heard the rib one the most.
he's turning 50 this year.
That's crazy.
But now he's considered an artist.
But also that there's that documentary Bowling for Columbine where he's the most sane, rational person in that entire documentary. Where they're like, "What would you say to the Columbine kids?" And he's like, "I'd listen." He's like, "No one listened to these kids." And it's like, "Geez, like I want Marilyn Manson to be my dad."
Yeah.
he's so great.
I looked up just some. I'm not too familiar with the art world, but if you don't listen to what I just said, I will sound like I am very familiar with the art world. But I was trying to look at like art controversies, and like it just goes on forever into the beginning of time. But a couple that I picked out were Andy Warhol's Campbell's soup cans. Everyone's like, "What is this garbage? Like this is derivative and it doesn't mean anything." But now it's very much considered art. There, Andreas Serrano, I think it was like 2008 or something, had a work called Piss Christ, where he took he peed into a jar, I think actual urine, peed into a jar, and then dipped a crucifix into it, sealed it off, and then took a really good picture of it. And everyone's like, how dare you? And that was 2008.
But
then
people are okay with it now.
I don't know if people are, I mean, I assume it's on a list of art, so people must have at some point come around. And then Al Weiwei, who is pretty beloved, if I recall, from my just hearing about him. At one point, he got like death threats because he took a 200-year-old Chinese urn and then took a picture of him holding it, and then a picture of it falling, and then a picture of it shattering on the ground. And they're like, why would you do that to that art? And he was like, because I was making art. And people were like really pissed off. And then I also threw in there the Sistine Chapel, because that's a brain, motherfuckers.
That's a what?
The brain. God and Adam. But God is in a brain.
I never knew that.
And so Michelangelo was throwing all kinds of shade all over that Sistine Chapel. Also, not even that, which people didn't even figure out until later. But there was like people were saying the nudity was too much. There's too much nudity in the Sistine Chapel. It was like angels and cherubs and people, and they were like popes. I don't know, maybe not popes, bishops and stuff. Were saying like, cover that up with fig leaves and stuff. So
you think in time this will
I'm
grow?
I'm not saying that
We'll be adding a tampon, fake
Yeah.
tampon tea bag.
Let's get this out of here
history books.
because I'm going to do one more ad read and then we'll do my last fun segment and then we'll wrap it up. Just want to make sure that's out of the way. Our final sponsor for this episode. Thank you to Honey for your sponsorship. Honey is the free browser extension that automatically helps you save money on all your favorite sites, including Amazon. With millions of sellers on Amazon offering the same products, how do you know if you're really getting the best price? That's where Honey comes in. Honey automatically goes to work whenever you shop on Amazon. It compares the prices of every seller that carries the item you want. That includes stuff like shipping, sales tax, and Amazon Prime status to make sure you're getting the lowest possible price. It's like having your very own personal shopping assistant. If all they did was just open tabs and compare everything. Christmas may be behind us, but Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And even though she'll tell me not to get her anything, I know Elise wants a present. Well, it turns out the best present I can get her is the best deal possible on the cheapest thing I can find. And that's going to be thanks to Honey. So the next time you're in the world's biggest marketplace looking for the best deals, treat yourself to the free upgrade that makes Amazon better. Add Honey for free at joinhoney.com/dude. That's joinhoney.com/dude. Honey, the smart shopping assistant that helps you save time and money.
Elise, will I upset either you or James if I mention the Hereditary story from Christmas? About gift giving in Hereditary and what you did?
Well, she had valid criticism.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
I'm just figuring out my dog is wandering in the halls.
That's fine.
That's okay.
That's all right. I just had a fun.
No.
James
I mean,
told me funny.
you can
I
tell
was
it.
just saying. Speaking of gift giving, James always like, I got Elise Hereditary on Blu-ray, and then she returned it. She said, just buy it on digital.
Well, no, she said thank you. This is really nice. She goes, but I mean, we kind of had agreed not to, if we were going to get movies, to just get digital versions.
No physical
so we didn't
media.
Get more space.
Yeah.
I only went the extra mile because I thought she was so into the movie. Maybe she want to watch like special features of the commentary, but she's like, it's fine. I figured it all out.
Why are you anti-physical release?
Physical media?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a space
I'll
issue.
say one bedroom apartment.
Yeah, space issue,
Yeah.
and then like, physical media becoming eventually obsolete. Like we have all these DVDs. We never play our DVDs. Or do you care?
No, I don't really care. I mean, I've probably switched more to digital stuff as of. The only thing is that like I fear that just like the license thing or something like that. It's,
Someday you're gonna lose your whole library.
Yeah, some days like, oh no, the library's gone because
That's
the
the
license.
thing with like Netflix. You're like, I can watch Friends whenever I want. And
Yeah.
you see the thing.
They
with,
lose
like,
the license.
Yeah, and you're
it's
like,
gone.
oh fuck, where do I watch?
The real trick, I guess, is to buy physical media,
Digitize
copy
it.
all the special features, and all, like basically do a full copy of the disc, and then destroy the disc, and then hope that you don't lose your hard drive like I have in the past.
Dude, that was a scary day. I've backed up so many. I did that. I had a DVD collection. I backed it all up, and then I also backed it up to an external drive on the same day. I don't know what happened. the internal drive on my PC crashed and the external drive crashed, and I lost everything. I don't know what happened. Magnets?
Maybe you magnetize.
I don't know.
So you just legit lost
I
everything.
lost my entire DVD library.
There you go.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. It was like From Dusk Till Dawn
Mean
and
Guns
like
and what's the
Mean Guns, Young Guns.
what's
All
the
the
one
guns.
with the big hit starring Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, yeah.
wow, I've actually seen that movie.
It's a good movie. It starts with him doing the pommel horse. It's the best way to start. The worst way to start a movie is with the spaceship. The best way to start a movie is with the main character or villain doing a pommel horse.
Do you remember the last like physical CD that you bought?
CD.
I do.
What was it?
I think it was the Daft Punk.
Oh yeah, the Get
the
Lucky
newer one?
album.
Oh.
I bought the Bloodhound Gang.
The one with the nipple.
Hooray
Yep.
for boobies or
Insert tongue to simulate nipple. Yeah.
Oh.
I
Hefty,
remember
Hefty
that.
Fine was the disgusting art, like the big dude in a box and he's all naked. Like, oh. Just have to look at it when you listen to it.
Well, before we wrap this up, I want to play one quick game with you guys. We don't have a graphic for it. Lawrence sometimes makes cool graphics, so just run the Guy Fieri one, I guess. Only it says, okay, we'll do it, and then a little bit at the end. I don't have a, so because who knows when I'll be back to do this again.
5 weeks.
But everyone knows that I hate the subreddit movie details. It started out so pure, like Anakin Skywalker, and it was immediately corrupted and became something terrible. And so I went through and pulled, there's also another subreddit called Shitty Movie Details, which is like a parody. Movie Details, just to know, is like someone will post some things and it's like 99% of the time a garbage plain observation about the movie or something like that.
Is it supposed to be like a summary or like a synopsis?
It's
or
like
something
informative. It's like IMDb trivia,
Okay.
but it's all terrible.
The most pure example is Back to the Future. When Marty breaks through, he goes back in time or whatever, he hits a tree. Previously in the movie in the 80s, it was called the Two
Pines.
Twin Pines
Pines
Mall.
Mall.
When he comes back in 1985, after going back in time, it's now called the Lone Pine Mall.
Yeah, it's called the Lone Pine because it was hit by a car mall.
Or-
No.
It was because
But it's not
there
something
used
that's
to be two-
accentuated in the movie. It's just something that some production designer put up in the background because they're actually reading the script and they're kind of understanding. Is
so
the
someone
intention.
posts that on the subreddit.
That's the intention. That's an example of a good one. But a
Yes.
bad one is when someone pulls out a knife, they scream because they see the knife, which are also heavily upvoted. I've gone through that. Shitty Movie Details is fake, not fake, but sometimes the most obvious of
That's
obvious.
like
Like
fan theories and then shitty fan theories subreddits.
kind of, yeah. It's like at the beginning of Star Wars, there is text on screen that also happens to describe the events of what happens at the beginning of Star Wars, right?
that gets
Well, it's
upvoted.
always
Well,
like,
that's the shitty one.
That's the
It's like
parody.
a parody of what someone would post on the
they'll
other.
say like, this is a nod to the fact that it's about Star Wars. And it's
So
like, okay.
So I've gone
Good.
through Shitty Movie Details and Movie Details,
Yes.
and I've pulled some of them, and I want you guys to guess which subreddit it's from.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
So let's do the first one, Omar, just so we have a visualization. All right. In The Wizard of Oz, the steam shooting from the Tin Man's cap startles Toto, who runs out of the shot. Can we have?
Okay.
So as you can see here, the thing happens and the dog runs off.
I think that's some movie details.
I was gonna
that's
say, I think that's an actual movie detail.
Yeah.
Now this is something a dog would do.
Yeah.
If you frightened it on set.
though it does. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he looks frightened. Okay.
But
Well, Tin
it's
Man's
also
gonna kick
what
him.
like I mean
Yeah.
it's what a dog would do.
Yeah.
But it's also what a dog would do.
Yes.
So like maybe the trainer was like stay and then the dog ran off because the loud noise.
That's not
happened.
much of a detail. That's just describing what happened in that scene.
Okay.
So-
So movie details,
Yeah.
proper, movie details, proper, movie details, proper.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love a movie detail about how they did the practical effect of that steam.
That's not what this person posted.
I know. I know.
But they did post it on movie details. This is
how
an
many
actual movie details.
upvotes? That's the question.
I don't have that for all of them, but I do have it for this. 38,000 upvotes.
38,000?
Well, no, more upvotes because of people downvoted. 38,000 cumulative sum total, whatever. Okay, let's move on.
Sure.
It's such a waste of time, doesn't it?
Let's move on to the next one. The Butterfly Effect.
Yes.
2004. They made sure we knew the year so we didn't get it confused with the other ones.
Yep.
Evan Trayborn, Ashton Kutcher is the actor. Of
course.
Guards his food in the diner due to PSD from being in prison, even though he hadn't been to prison during that current timeline. Now, it's a movie where he travels through different timelines of his life, experiencing it all, but recreating events from other lives.
That's got to be a shitty one.
I don't know. That seems like something they would put in movie detail.
It sounds too shitty movie details usually is a bit more self-aware. That's too detailed.
So
I could be the lone trooper on that
final,
one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
regular detail
regular. Yeah,
and shitty
I guess, yeah.
and regular.
yeah, regular.
It is a regular detail.
Damn.
Yep.
All right.
Thought it was
Okay.
gonna be a
How many
curveball.
upvotes?
This
They're
one I
just
don't
that
have
bad,
the
I
number for
guess.
because I saw the upvotes for the first one and I got so angry that I
Yeah,
stopped writing them down.
I guess the point is you saw it, so someone hit the
Okay.
up arrow instead
All
of
right.
the down arrow.
And this is our last one.
Okay.
RoboCop brackets. Looking closely at RoboCop's face when he takes off the helmet, you can make out the scar from where Murphy got shot in the head. Now keep in mind, everything back there and everything down here are also implications of where he was shot. That's why it's just his face.
Right.
But they're referring to that dot up there.
When he got shot in the head.
when he got shot in the
when he was
head
a
and
cop.
the brains pop out the back.
Yeah.
They have it on this plaster
Part of
mold
me
that's supposed to look
thinks
like him.
that these are all movie details, and this is just James's way of not playing a fun game with us, but using us to push his agenda of hating movie details.
I also think that.
Okay, so what's your vote?
Regular movie details.
Regular movie details?
I guess I'm just gonna piggyback.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, do what
I
you
was wrong.
feel.
Yeah,
Keep
we're-
in mind,
I feel like there should be one shitty one.
all
in
of this,
there.
he also has a scar on his chin.
Okay. That might just be Peter Weller's actual
Okay.
chin scar. I
All
don't
right.
know. I always want
So regular movie details.
I'll go shitty.
Shitty?
I think it's regular.
Regular?
That's something.
This is also regular movie details.
What the hell, man?
Because the line blurs
No.
when all details on this fucking subreddit are so shitty.
It was an agenda. You had an agenda for this game.
At this point, the subreddit shitty movie details needs to start posting actual movie details.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Instead of
what-
That's
With the
satire.
fan theories subreddit and the shitty fan theories, eventually the shitty fan theories, people were like, "Whoa, these are actually like
Yeah,
it's kind of surpassing."
Yeah.
the-
Well,
fan theory.
that's all the time we have
thank
for this
you.
episode. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for letting me host. I hope people enjoyed it. And I don't know who we're doing next week.
No one
don't know.
knows.
We don't know.
It's
It'll
supposed to be
always be a
alphabetical,
surprise.
but who knows? A big story might
Yeah.
happen.
or
That
storm. A
Other-
century.
There is supposed to be a storm this weekend. Yeah, I just heard on the news that I listened to.
On the news.
Real quick, couple shout outs. James, thank you for joining us all the way from Couch
you.
Hop.
Thank you, guys.
You can see more of James at you can go to patreon.com/couchhop to support James. You can also go to his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/uberhacksornova to watch his streams. Sometimes you talk about wrestling.
Yeah, sometimes. If something major happens, you
Call
know,
me out.
Yeah, that too.
What are you playing right now?
What am I playing?
On the
Just
streams.
little everything. Smash or, whatever.
Whatever
should-
suits your fancy.
Fortnite apparently is really big right now.
Nope.
Oh,
No,
I
Fortnite?
am not allowed to play that anymore.
They don't let you. Got banned.
Yeah, the audience doesn't let me play.
I played Smash with Alex over on during New Year's Eve. He's good. Turns out
Is it?
Really?
How do you feel about people that
I
are
played
good
in
at Smash
1v1.
Brothers?
It was not the case.
he's better than everyone in the room.
Interesting.
Well, so you might be way better than everyone in this room. Thank you for joining us. We got to figure out when we can talk more about wrestling and
Yeah, it's fun.
maybe go to a show or something around
Yeah,
here.
you keep saying to go to PWG, and I still haven't.
PWG sells out so fast.
Yeah. I'll do bar wrestling. Yeah,
We'll
that's
see.
fun.
Yeah, bar wrestling's always a good time. Joey Ryan's really cool too. Did I mention that?
Yeah.
I did. I also want to shout out some videos that are coming out this weekend on Funhouse. Worst games of 2018.
Yeah.
We did do it. We recorded it. We played a couple of them.
At least-
I remember at least one
I remember one
that
of
we
them.
played, and it wasn't that bad. It was pretty
Yeah,
great.
well, yeah.
You're really
Yeah.
selling this video.
No,
Can't
it's-
remember
we're-
any of the games.
we're-
Selling that.
no, I
Yeah, yeah.
remember the games.
I don't want to
but
spoil. I mean, you
I don't
guys
wanna
can find a
spoil it.
list. but-
We also have episode 8 of Bored as Hell. We'll be playing Rival Restaurants. Already up right now on Rooster Teeth First. You can check it out right now. But it's going to be going up on YouTube on Sunday. Any other announcements? How's life?
What are they getting me for like
I
that?
don't know.
Do you guys have any videos going up you're excited about? Do you know?
I did a little bit of a scientist mixture experimentation with Malort the other day, just to try it because Malort is like a Chicago kind of like exclusive alcohol. We had you taste it, remember?
Oh yeah, it wasn't too bad. It's
He
strong.
says it's not too bad. It tastes like shit.
It's
But I mean, I tried to pretty much negate the taste of Malort, so I was trying to mix it with a bunch of other stuff to see if I could actually do that. It's just kind of the end result was just me getting drunk, so it just didn't happen. So
Fun.
that was a fun video, though.
cool.
Check it out.
Check out
We'll
Couch
keep
Up.
an eye out.
You guys
Keep an
do-
eye out for that. Thank you guys for watching. If you are a first member, we'll be back in a little bit with the post show. I don't know who's going to be here. I think
Alana, I'll go grab her.
we'll see. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you next time.
That's my catchphrase.
I gotta run to the bathroom.
I go, we'll see you next time. Not if I see you first.
I like the
Always
idea.
following
Have you-
Pulp Fiction.
You feel like you got lost in the woods and you looked under a rock and you found a DVD of Go and you're like, this for God? This is
mine.
Yeah. It's like, no, thousands of people worked on this thing to give it to you because it's a commercial product and they want you to watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
But if given the choice, I have to watch Go or 200 Cigarettes, I'll fucking watch Go because